Does anyone have a question?
I do. Um, I heard Rudy say internalize everything, externalize nothing. And can you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, look, the only way that a human being can possibly change and grow is to internalize their energy. And by that, Rudy meant using the mind, the breath, using the tools that we're born with to develop an inner life that is strong enough to connect with higher energy in the universe. What he also taught me years ago was that the external world is just an illusion. It's a reflection of your inner life. And you can't change your inner life by trying to manipulate an illusion, something that's in a mirror. As I kind of joke around, if you have a pimple on your forehead, you don't put salve on the mirror. You go to the source of the problem. The source of the problem is deep inside a human being, and a human being has to use the tools they're born with to develop a system inside that is strong enough to connect with God, spirit, higher energy, whatever you want to call it. It's impossible to do that by trying to manipulate the objective world. Although most people, that's how they function. They're trying to change what's out there. And very few people say, I'm going to change what's in here. And if I change what's in here, the way I see the world is going to be different. The world that I see is going to be different because I am different. It's a reflection of me, of, of my inner life. And if there's chaos inside me and, all kinds of tension and problems and neurosis, anxiety, etc., that's what you see in the world. That's what you see in the world. And, as I say, I'm not naive. 8 billion people are not going to change. So the world is always going to be nuts. It's always going to be off centered, tilted. And then that's what we have to deal with. Do we go out into the objective world and try to fix it? Or do we go inside ourselves and fix ourselves so that we can bring love, we can bring compassion, we can bring forgiveness, we can bring all the highest levels of what it means to be human to the world? And as again, 8 billion people are not going to do this. I mean, go sit down in the Middle East and tell them to do this. You'd get crucified. I mean, Christ did this. He got crucified. But each and every human being can change inside themselves because each and every human being is connected to God, spirit, infinite energy inside themselves and can draw that nourishment, that Shakti, that higher energy into their chakra system and build a system inside that allows them to become, first of all, happy people no longer trying to manipulate what's an illusion. And secondly, get spiritual enlightenment. So what he meant was exactly that. I mean, look, I kind of knew all this stuff before I met Rudy, but it was only through his double breathing exercise and the endless numbers of classes I had with him and the incredible training I got from him that it became organic to my inner life. And then it took years to absorb that teaching. It wasn't something that, oh, yeah, I went to, now I'm different. No, I had to work on myself for years to be able to absorb that kind of profound teaching. And it just, enabled my inner life to begin. You start seeing things through the third eye. It's a different world that you envision. And yet it's like that wonderful Japanese saying, before enlightenment, carrying water and plowing the fields. After enlightenment, carrying water and plowing. Before enlightenment, running a business and earning a living. After enlightenment, running a business and earning a living. Having to take care of the material world, because if you don't do that, your life becomes a mess. The objective world doesn't, people live with this sense of entitlement, and the objective world doesn't entitle us. You got to work, you got to earn your place in the world. You got to give and receive unconditionally in life. So when he spoke about that, that's what registered inside me. And if you pour energy into the objective world, you see, you have to put some energy, because life has to work. And I also learned from him that if you build a chakra system and the energy moves through each chakra and makes the full cycle inside, there will be an overflow of energy. There will be an excess of energy. You'll have so much energy that it's not that full cycle inside that you're pouring into life. It's that overflow. It's that excess of energy that you use to make your way in the world. And then one is whole inside. You're not pouring your guts into the objective world, which is eating you alive. It's like a form of cannibalism. We get eaten alive by life because people don't have the training, and they are pouring all their vital energy into life to create a business, to create a relationship, family, et cetera, et cetera. And instead of, using the craft of meditation to build a chakra system that creates a whole person inside, and then there'll be so much energy that overflow is what you use in the world. I hope it's clear. I mean, this is not easy stuff to do, but it's an outgrowth of one's practice. It happens. If you happen to me, I don't know. I don't talk about this because I read it somewhere in a book. I mean, it's happened in my life. Exactly what I'm talking about today. And it didn't happen in 6 months. It happened over years and years of being a servant to God, Then these things take place. Does anyone else have a question they would like? I mean, to me, that's something wonderful. You build a wholeness in yourself. Every chakra is connected to a higher force of energy. The energy moves through your entire system, activates Kundalini, opens the crown chakra. You're being nurtured by this higher energy. And that higher energy is so powerful that when it comes into you, you need to have foundation, the strength. Chakra system has to really be fine-tuned. And then there's the overflow that one uses to live their life every day. Does anyone have a question? Anyone else have a question? And the overflows, compassion, love, using what you do in the objective world, in the outside world, as a way of serving God. I mean, I never even understood, I never gave a damn about making money or anything of that nature. Before I was sent to Texas and I had to run an ashram. And I was having meditation classes twice a day, teaching and setting up ashrams all over Texas. But I understood something, that the purpose of the money wasn't to serve me. It wasn't my ego it was serving. It was to serve this responsibility I took on myself to run an ashram, to nurture people, to be a servant of God in the world that way. Because Caesar keeps knocking at the door, and if you don't take care of Caesar, Caesar's pretty tough. And by Caesar, I mean the external world. And one overcomes the fear they have of doing what I'm talking about. Along with, you don't get lost in illusion. It's always clear what's real, what's an illusion, how to serve God, how to serve life, how to use life as a teacher, letting you know exactly what you have to do every day. When you work on yourself, you haven't arrived yet. It's the best lesson that anyone can learn. They haven't arrived yet. They still have work to do on themselves. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? It's all about love. It's all about learning to love, learning to live with an open heart, learning to live with compassion. That's what it's all about. Learning to nurture the Godhead in other human beings, not wanting to have power over people and control and who's more important. And that's all bullshit, It all gets buried when we die, The other thing lives eternally. Love, compassion, service, unconditional receiving, giving. Okay, if there are no more questions, thank you. Bless you. Great question. I don't know who asked it, but it was a great question. So God bless you all. And again, I say it every night. I'll say it again. Thanks. I'm here to learn. I'm not here to teach. I'm here. And each and every one of you is my teacher. You're really demanding that I learn very profound things in my life. So God bless you all. And thank you. There'll be a class on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you.